Alright guys, so it's been a little bit since I made a video, at least I haven't made one so far. It is February 22nd, I believe, so it is a Thursday. I'm not on my regular job, it's a rainy day. And I figured I'd look over a little project that I kind of worked on before, but I kind of redid. So if you guys watched my personal channel before I made this channel, I had started a whole 90s setup for my spare room. That was all the Sony stuff, and I figured I'd redo it along with re-cleaning the room. If you saw my video where I went over what was going on this year and everything I kind of intended to do, I kind of showed a whole loop around of it. I'm just going to be showing the setup so far and a little bit because I don't think I have to go over all of it again. So let me switch it around. So in hindsight, the location of my futon and everything in the room makes it a little hard to mount the camera I wanted, or the camcorder that is. As you can see, I have a Trinitron and I have the speakers that if you watched my previous video, which I'll link if I recall to do that, the SS-U310s. Those are the primary speakers I'm using for this whole setup. Everything in this room is pretty much 90s except for the furniture. Well, besides the stand. But the speaker stands are not from the 90s, my futon's not, the stuff under it to kind of hold stuff in place. And I do have part of my game collection stuff over here. My intent with this all-90s setup is to make pretty much an all-90s Sony entertainment stand. I don't have the mini disc decks on there like I did in my previous setup. I don't have the VCR set in place that I had before, which I'll probably do that later, as you can see though. So what I'll probably do is just show you a little bit of each part of the setup and explain what's going on with it and my intents with it. So it's a bit hard with the camcorder setup and stand and what I have in here, like I said before. I do have some monoprice speaker stands for the speakers. If you've seen the speakers before, I've used those. This Trinitron's a 20-inch Trinitron. I've done a video on it. I'll link that as well. And I have a Kirby that was gifted. I kind of just put that on there as decor. I'll probably swap it out with a PlayStation thing depending on the mood. I do also play other games and systems from that era besides like Sony ones and PlayStation. I do have an N64, a Super Nintendo, a Genesis Model 2, all 90s era stuff. I do want to get a Sega Saturn once I get the budget, but unfortunately I don't have that in the budget at the moment, so that's on hold. And you can see the stand. I actually got this free off of Facebook Marketplace. Someone's just looking to get rid of it. So there is a flap that you might be able to notice that goes up that the TV's on currently. Originally that was intended to hold a turntable on the top, on that top shelf right there. I took the hinges off the back to kind of clean them and try to fix them. I haven't done that yet. And I haven't found it yet, but unfortunately while moving it into my place, the piece of metal that slides over this rubber piece that keeps the magnet in place to lock it closed fell off somewhere either in my car or at the place that I got it from. I haven't found it in my car yet or in my apartment, so I'm hoping at some point I will find it. So now that I'm kind of close to the floor, with a better look at this, and I do have this off the futon, it's a lot easier to keep it level. So at the bottom here, there is kind of a hole. There is a back part to that, so there's no like holes to put cables in. What I'll probably usually do here is just tuck whatever console I'm currently using, whether it be the PlayStation, N64, Saturn, Super Nintendo, whatever. Just tuck it in there temporarily, or any other systems or devices I might use. I do intend to put a VCR on top of the CD player. I don't know if I'll add a mini disc deck to this whole setup just because of the nature of it. This is a compact disc player CDP. Compact disc player, that's what those stands for, is in the model number, -397. This one has been pretty useful to me. It works just fine, except for with one issue. I did get a remote for it, but for some reason the IR on it is broken, so the remote didn't seem to work. I'll probably try to get another remote at some point, or go through all my CD remotes and see if any of them still have the same issue. There's a small chance that remote's just damaged, but when I last used it, that's what was going on. I'm borrowing that from my boss right now to just give it a listen. And below it we have a receiver, which I do want to start doing reviews on receivers and look overviews and stuff like that. Not so much reviews, just overviews. Doing a full-on review is probably not my main intent. I chose this one because it does Dolby surround sound. So although the PlayStation 1 did not use any Dolby surround sound as far as I know, or Pro Logic surround sound, more I should say, which was a technology that Dolby used where you could plug in two RCA cords and would use the audio from those two channels to mix out basic surround sound, whether it be like 4.1 or 4.0, not quite quadraphonic, and then 5.1, earlier versions of surround sound. pretty much used that technology because they didn't have an exact method at that point to do something otherwise. I also have some front AV ports for composite, and then 2 RCA stereos. I use that for whatever system I plug in temporarily. CD players ran into the CD line, and I have all the basic controls that I need on the front of this for what I want to do. Right now I don't have the extra 2 rear speakers or the center channel plugged in. I'll probably save that for when I actually do surround sound stuff because I do not want to trip on the cables. I don't have anything in this room set up to run speaker wires on the one side of the room without kind of running over something or just tripping on them. If you guys are interested in me finally looking at a bunch of these old 90s receivers that I've picked up, please let me know. I have a few, I definitely want to do so. It's just finding the right space to get a good view at them, along with plugging in speakers and going over all the basic functions. I did order a remote for it on eBay, so there's that. This works just fine. This does let you also turn on the Trinitron, so that's cool. Lets you do the basic functions. The reason I chose a receiver as well is to not only deal with multiple devices going in, because the Trinitron up above is a mono unit. It only has 1 speaker, which you can actually see here. So I don't have full stereo on that. Plus a receiver out to dedicated speakers gives you better audio than just a TV would. So I have a composite line running from the receiver up to the Trinitron, and I'm not using any of the audio ports on the Trinitron itself. I will kind of go over some of the other stuff that we have in this room. I got not 1, but 2 of the center channel speaker I liked. And if I get to that eventually, I will do a video and explain why. But I wanted a center channel for surround sound. That one's kind of neat. I'll probably save an overview video with it with a receiver that I intended to use it with. Just because, I mean, there's nothing really dedicated to a center channel besides some movies, and finding something copyright free is not easy for that. I do have a stack of 3 of the same kind of model of speakers. Those were from a mini hi-fi unit that you would probably get in a garage and stuff. People don't seek those out as much because they are more prone to failure and harder to repair. So getting the speakers to them are a cheap, easy way to start out if you want to start out an audio setup and have a little bit of audio that's better than just a dedicated TV speaker. You can see some of my CDs on top. We got Jamiroquai. A few of those are Sony Music releases. I don't think I'll ever cover those exactly. And then I just have some speaker stands along with my PlayStation 5 boxes and stuff. So nothing too crazy besides that in the 90s setup room. Then we have a futon that belonged to my mother before she passed that I got at Target, along with a bunch of bins that I got at Target. Whenever I have like remotes or batteries or certain things, I just kind of tuck them in those bins underneath. It's easy to slide them in and out. And then a pizza blanket that my brother got me for Christmas, so there's that. It's not a big setup, but having a spare room that's small like this does kind of give a cozy feel that I'm going for. So it's more of a nostalgic and cozy feeling that I am intending with this whole setup and spare room. Just kind of give both nostalgia and then a comforting feeling when I ever want to just relax and clear my mind of certain things going on in the world as of recently. That's my main intent behind this whole room. Alright guys, so besides that, there's one more thing I wanted to do. I did want to talk about the fact that I haven't set up credits yet to show off patrons. I do have a Patreon account, which I mentioned before in my update video, and I have had some previous patrons that I've never really mentioned in videos or credits, so I'm going to do that now just as an update. So I have them listed here. There was originally Luke, or Bubbus was his username, and he donated a $1 tier for 5 months, and that was April 3rd, 2018 to September 1st, 2018, so I do thank you. I don't know if he's still active. He actually knew someone that I used to live next to, which is kind of crazy. And then the second one was High Res, which also $1 tier for 5 months from April 2018 to September 2018. It's weird that they both kind of unsubscribed at the same time, but yeah. There's that. Thank you guys if you still watch any of this. I do have a follower at a free tier, which I'm not going to mention that. And then I almost had another follower at the $1 tier who they subscribed at that for $1 earlier this month and then canceled the same day, so I'm not going to mention that. But if you are interested in supporting what I'm trying to do, or just help me fund getting better gear for certain things I do want to do, then please consider donating to the Patreon. I will mention your name in the credits of nicer videos. Some of the shorter term videos that I do I might forget to, or I might just pop out like shorts and stuff. I won't be mentioning credits of anything like that in those types of videos. So without further ado, I do thank you guys for watching. Let me know if anything I showed you in my 90s room you'd like me to take a closer look at. As of the moment though, I will not be doing any repair videos just because I don't have a proper space to do so. With both the spacing of working on one and certain tools I need, I don't have at the moment, I don't have the budget for. And I also have trouble trying to kind of organize a way to have the camera mounted in a way to effectively view all that. Alright guys, so thank you very much, take care. I will be working on something soon, and hopefully by the end of the month it'll be done, if not at the beginning of next month. Bye for now.